And welcome back, high performers, to another high performance Vet Pro Touchcast and podcast. And this week we're kind of following up on the concept of the brain set and mindset that we talked about last week. And as we move more into change, we ask the question, how will you quantify and measure your change? So we'll be back in a moment to talk a little bit more about the quantification and measuring of change and creating lifelong transformation. Welcome back, high performers. This is Ryan Smith with High Performance Living and the High Performance LifePrint. And this week when we ask the question, how will you quantify and measure your change, we really do so with that thought process of what am I actually changing in my life and how am I going to measure it and is it creating threat? So what we want to do is we want to give you some really basic thought processes of measuring change over time and how you can do that. So our first one that we want to go through this week is how we can actually talk about the quantifying of the technology. And first what we want to do is we want to determine what data points are relevant to our goal and we want to measure those. So we want to measure those specific points over time and allow it to actually bring awareness to what we're doing. So if we're actually wanting to become healthier, or we're actually wanting to lose body fat, one of the things that everybody thinks about is weighing themselves and are they measuring on the scale? Well, that's one data point, and it actually may not be the most beneficial data point because there's a lot of things that come into play whenever we're actually using a regular scale. Are we measuring body fat? Maybe, maybe not, but is that a second data point that we need to include? We also may include other things of stress, meals, things like that that are actually going to apply to losing weight, because losing weight in itself may not make us more healthy if we're not doing it the proper way. So our first point is that determine what data points are relevant to our goal and measure those specific points over time and allow it to bring awareness to those specific data points. Our second one is identify factors that can derail our change over time and include those in our data as well. So by this we want you to think about, okay, are there foods that I'm going to look at in my life and they actually create inflammation or create setbacks in my change that I want to create? So if I continue to indulge in these things that derail my change, that's not a good thing. So what I want to do is I want to identify those factors and remove them and track that over time as well, because if I do take those in and they create change in a different way, may not be the best thing that we want to do. And then our third point that we have is we want you to actually track your mood and feelings to identify potential mental conflicts with your goal as well. Whenever I'm tracking my mood, my feelings about how I'm doing, whether it be with an exercise program, with a diet, with whatever it may be, from a mood standpoint, from how I'm dealing with family, all these factors come into play as well. So if I'm not tracking my mood and my feelings, it can also kind of identify those derailing points for me as well. So that's a few little quick things from a technological standpoint. It doesn't actually require a lot. So for us, we like to use heart rate variability to measure change over time, what stress is coming on, how our workouts are working, identifying potential issues with food. We can, for us, we can track from our postural standpoint, is that creating an issue for us? We can track data from our workouts, take pictures of our food, lots of things that'll come into play there. So we want you to kind of identify them. We want you to remove the things that may derail you, and we want you to track your mood and feelings from potential derailment as well. And then from the next point, then what we want to do is we want to invite you to contact us. We want you to kind of interact with this on change. Again, we talked about last week that change is transient. So if I lose 5 pounds, that created change. But if I gain 5 pounds, that's also change. And to get true transformation, we want to identify the factors that create permanent change. Because once I've done that, then I can eliminate those things that do not serve me well. So you can actually tap right here on the screen. If you're on the Touchcast, it will take you over to the website. You can fill out one of the questionnaires that's there. You can contact us and we'll be more than happy to interact, kind of help guide you through this process and schedule an initial consultation. So until next time, this is Ryan Smith with the High Performance LifePrint, High Performance Vet Pro Touchcast and Podcast. We'll see you real soon.